welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd go through some of the games that I wanted to beat in 2020 to get off my gaming backlog. As many of you know from the previous video that I think I've uploaded a couple of days ago, I talked about how I wanted to get some of these games off of my backlog, and I had such a backlog of games that I just wanted to start to go through them and experience them. And so I made a list of games that I wanted to beat. And there were 20 games that I put down because I thought that was reasonable. And that was back in, I think it was January 2nd of 2020. I made this list. Now, obviously, unbeknown to me that there was going to be a pandemic with lockdowns, and my job was put on hold, and I lost funding, and a whole bunch of stuff was happening. You know, plants died and lost a lot of research, and it was a very stressful year. Thank goodness for video games. You would think then that I would have gotten through these 20 games rather easily, but I didn't. There were 2 games on my list that I did not beat. But we'll go into that. However, oddly enough, this was an extremely productive year for getting things off my backlog. I completed 41 games this year. The most I've ever done in my entire career as a gamer, or ever. Like, it's just crazy. A lot of that's down to the pandemic. And, you know, it was nice to get rid of a lot of these games off of my backlog, and almost all of them were from my backlog, which was nice. So that's good. I think I'll go through all those other ones that were not on my list, another video, and give my thoughts and impressions on them. So to start, my first game on my list was Fire Emblem Birthright. What a fantastic game for the 3DS. This was my first game for Fire Emblem. I had never played a Fire Emblem game until I played this. It was a wonderful, tactical, first-person, strategy game. I loved it. It was wonderful. I loved the story. And you see, that's the thing with me, is I'm a story person, and I know there was 3 other ones that were released, and I was told when I was actually at EB Games to get this one. And some of you might remember from one of my earlier pickups years ago, I picked this up and posted it. And I just had never really gotten around to really playing it. I got maybe an hour or 2 in, but that was all I did. So I restarted it this year and sunk in 70 hours. I didn't want it to end. I could not stress enough how wonderful this game is. The character, the progression. My favorite part, of course, is when you can get your 2 characters. You often can have 2 characters join forces and fight enemies together, and through time they can get a better and better relationship. And if you can max the relationship, and if they're a male and a female, you can have children. And those children can get certain traits of their parents that can then go on and you can use them. Loved it. Of course, like with any Fire Emblem game, there is permadeath, and I found that challenging and at times very frustrating. But thank goodness I can just turn off my game and redo the battle again if I didn't want to lose a certain character. But really, really nice, lovely game. High recommendation. If you have a 3DS, you should definitely play that. Another game on my list, and it's a game I've had for a while, and I have played every game in the series for this on every console. And I know this was a re-release on the Switch, and is now known as the definitive edition for the Switch, is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What a wonderful homage to every single Nintendo, and not even Nintendo, it can be Sega. There's There's sometimes even PlayStation games like Snake, Solid Snake. It's amazing. Wonderful homage to just video gaming in general. And there are so many IPs in here that get you excited to possibly explore other characters and their games and where they came from. I love the series. I love fighting games. This was so much fun. And I went through this in part back in, actually, I remember in March when the pandemic was getting pretty bad here in Canada and the university closed. And I was sitting here twiddling my thumbs, so I played with my sister online. And I unlocked every character. I played through the Path of Light, I believe it's called, like the game board going through, and I did all of that. I played so many hours, and I still do. And that's the thing with Smash, is you're never really done, right? It's one of those games you can always keep playing, but for the multiplayer aspect, love it. It's one of the best games out there. If you own a Switch, I think it's a must-have. But yeah, I loved it, and I did everything you could do single player, of course, and just loved it. Excellent addition. Great way to get the rage, of course, out of when you're unfortunately in a pandemic. You know, get that rage out. These other two, now here's the other problem. I have some of these games are digital and some of them are physical. I had the physical sitting here. When you have kids, bad idea, because some of my games are missing. I don't know where they went. So my daughter probably took them. But one of the games on here, it was Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8. So I'm going to do them together. And my reasoning for playing them is I've had Mario Kart 7 for a long time for the DS. And there was a part of me during this pandemic that said, I just want to play a Mario Kart game. Have some comfort, right? Because I was missing some of that comfort because you couldn't go out, you couldn't see family and friends. And I had so much great memories of my sister and my family and friends playing Mario Kart. It's the best game to do that with. And the blue shell of death, oh my god, it used to frustrate people. And so I played the Mario Kart 7 by myself on the DS and went through the single campaign, unlocked all the tracks, unlocked all the characters, and thought that was really, really fun. And I really enjoyed my time. But at the same time, so as I was doing that, I was also playing Mario Kart 8, which again is a re-release from the Wii U, and as I think is the definitive edition because it has all the things unlocked, all the DLC that was with the Wii U back then. And I played on the Wii U and loved it. But my wife wasn't one to really play many games, and she played once in a while Mario Kart. And for my birthday, we had a Mario Kart day where my daughter, who's 2, we sat down, we introduced it, she had the wheel, and we played, and it was so much fun. And that's the thing that I think is important as well, is I've talked about how gaming can bring in lots of memories, and there's a lot of good stuff there. And this is one of those memories I'm going to have for the rest of my life, playing Mario Kart 8 with my daughter, who's 2 years old. Yeah, she ran around and smashed into stuff. She didn't know what she was doing, but it was fun. It's a memory I'll always remember and have, and it's just wonderful. Also, 2 excellent games. Obviously, Mario Kart 8's way better graphics. It's on, obviously, the Switch, newer hardware, definitive edition. Mario Kart 7 was good. I like some of the tracks that were in there, especially the one with the dinosaur. I forget the name of that track. And some of the music in there was fantastic. This is another thing with these games, especially in the Mario Kart. Some of that music is fantastic. And but yeah, both are good games. I did enjoy them. Although if you had to pick, I would pick obviously Mario Kart 8. It's a really good one. Another game that I've had for a very long time, and I've wanted to play, was Bayonetta 2 back on the Wii U. Now, I bought this when it first came out, and I'm not one to buy games day one, but I bought this day one, in part because it came with a disc. Let's see. It came with the original Bayonetta. The original Bayonetta disc. Let me just put this down here. Whoop. The original Bayonetta disc. I loved it. Oh, that's not the original. That's the second. Derp. Stupid me. Here we go. The original. Lovely game. I bought this day one, played this game right away, and loved it, every second of it, and then just never got to the second one. And a part of me why I bought it day one was because I was hoping that game developers, when they were going to release a new iteration of a game, like a sequel or even a prequel, that they would release a whole bunch of the previous games in that installment or franchise with the game, so that people who may not have had the experience with it on the previous consoles could have it. And plus, it keeps these games going and updated for the newest system, so we can all play them. And that sort of has happened, especially now in the PS4, a lot of re-releases and stuff and updates, which has been nice. But excellent game. If you love beat 'em ups, just having a hell of a time going through, just beating shit up. Great game, and a great game for 2020. I played this in June when we were under a really bad lockdown here in Ontario, and the cases were getting kind of crazy. It was so frustrating because you missed going outside, you couldn't do anything, so many restrictions. It was nice just to go out and beat the hell out of some angels and demons, and that's an awesome game. Graphics were great. I think it's an excellent franchise, and if you've never experienced it, I know it's also on the Switch. I think you should totally get it. I highly recommend it. Wonderful game. Another game that I've played this year that actually my wife and I went to EB Games. This is something I think I talked about before. Is my wife, because she wasn't around and played games back in the 90s and early 2000s, we didn't have the internet very well, and it wasn't great. It was the internet capabilities were not great. It was still the infancy of looking things up online, and you still kind of went by the box art. And so I told her, let's go to EB Games and look at some games and just look at the box art, and we'll play whatever games we get. And one of those games that she picked out just on the box art alone, and I can see why, it's quite nice, was The Council. This is an excellent game. It is a wonderful game. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Look how mysterious it is. And what caught her eye was obviously it was George Washington and Napoleon. And she thought, how cool is that? Wait, what is this? What's going on? What does this mean, the council? What are these famous historical figures doing here? And it's you're playing as a character who's going through to this special manor where they have a council of all these historical figures. And it's a choice game where you make various choices, and depending on what your choices you make, depend on the outcome and so on, and what people say and do. It was quite fun. I really liked it. It was a wonderful game. I actually, one of the rare things for me, I liked it so much and got so engrossed in the story, because again, I'm a story guy. I not only beat the game, but complete the game. I beat it 100%. I undid all the different alternative paths. I got the platinum trophy. It was wonderful. It just absorbed me, and I think it was just the time in this year. It just sucked me in. Highly recommend it. Now, on the other side of that, again, another choice game, and I picked this at the same day we did that EB game thing, and this was Detroit Becoming Human. Another really great game. This game is fantastic. I did not 100% it by any means, because there's so many branching dialogues and different trees for choices you make and different endings. But I really liked it. It was a wonderful game. If you're into sort of like this future steam cyberpunk kind of a thing, or like futurist or androids, anything like that, this is a good game. Or choice games, really, really good game. I liked it a lot. Another game that kind of brought me back to the past, and again, I wanted some comfort and relive my childhood a little bit during this crazy times, was I wanted to re-experience Crash. And so I played the Crash Insane trilogy. Now, I didn't play all 3 games. I only played the first Crash, which was fucking infuriating. The first 6 levels, I had no problem. They were just as I remembered as a kid. They were fantastic, spot on. I really enjoyed it. Then it became difficult. Then it became like, I don't remember it being so hard, and me failing and dying so much. And this game, because of the difficulty in it, and I heard the reason for a lot of this was the jumping mechanics and the Crash's hit detection when he's landing on platforms and things for the first game were based on the third game mechanics, and it doesn't translate very well, and so you get issues. So it really increases the difficulty. Well, it was really tough, and it took me, okay, 7 months to complete. But I did it, and it's just as I remembered as a kid. Wasn't as frustrating as a kid. I don't remember it being so frustrating, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to playing the second one this year. The next game that I completed, that I love the series very much, I played the third, fourth, and Primal. There's your hint. And loved them. And that series is Far Cry. Far Cry 5 was a savior for me this year. No pun intended, because it's about a lot of religious zealots. I really loved this game. It was at a time, again, where you just want an open world, run around, explore, and just have fun, right? And this was a game that I just had fun in. I loved it. I loved the hunting. I loved killing the Peggies. I loved liberating the church's strongholds. It was just lovely, and it's a classic Far Cry. Story was okay. It was good. You know, I didn't play this game for the story per se. I was playing it more for the violence, if you will, which I know sounds crazy, but that's what I really played it for, because that's what I needed this year, something that was sort of Grand Theft Auto-like, but not Grand Theft Auto. And so I really, really liked it. It was a wonderful game. If you're into the Far Cry series and you haven't played this game, I would definitely pick it up. It was something I enjoyed. If you like that sort of Far Cry stuff, clearing outposts and things, wonderful game. I highly recommended it. It was really fun.